My husband's investment failed and he was in debt crisis. I was going to sell the gold jewelry he gave me every year to see how much of his foreign debt I could help him pay off, but I was told that they were all fake. I went to get a property appraisal, and the agent checked it for me in person, and the property certificate was fake. But the house worth 5 million was given to me by Zhu Yan when we got married, and she said that only my name would be written on it. What else could be real? I casually sent the photo of the marriage certificate to my best friend at the Civil Affairs Bureau, and my best friend said, "Fake." I looked at the blood-red marriage certificate and laughed out loud. Fortunately, it was also fake. The main text begins while waiting for news from my best friend. I was nervous. I have been married to Zhu Yan for 5 years and have never doubted her love for me. Although he is busy with work and cannot accompany me on the anniversary every year, Zhu Yan always gives me valuable gifts as compensation and will be twice as good to me after that day. I have never questioned the authenticity of those gifts. Just because Zhu Yan is my husband, I love him unconditionally. I took the things he gave me on Dram from early morning to sunset. I carefully questioned every store until the last bit of sincerity evaporated. When the clerk burned the fake gold to ashes and showed it to me, the knife above my head finally fell. I forced myself to ask, why does the fake gold have the receipt from their store? The clerk checked the purchase record. "Madame, your receipt is real, but the jewelry you brought is not ours." In other words, Zhu Yan really bought these sets of jewelry, but what I received was fake. Looking at the fake property certificate in my hand, I called the housing authority. "I want to check the name of the household owner of Binjiang No." 101. A voice came from the other end of the phone. "Okay, please wait." At this time, my best IE finally pronounced the death sentence on this marriage. "Zhu Enya, your marriage certificate is fake." But I checked Zhu Yan's. He has a subsisting marriage under his name, and the woman's name is Zhang Yai. The staff on the phone also replied, "Madame, the name of the property you just mentioned is Ms. Zhang Yai." 10 years ago, in order to marry him, I ran from the south to the north with my savings despite my parents' opposition. At that time, Zhu Yan's career had just started, and she often entertained until midnight. In order to make him feel better when he was drunk, I cooked sobering soup every day and waited for him to come back for 10 years without slacking off. I appreciated his hard work in earning money and took care of all the housework, even never letting him enter the kitchen once. His business was booming, but it was a pity that I grew up to be a yellow-faced woman that he hated in the daily fireworks. Years of hard work have left me with back pain, and I can't stand up straight after bending for a long time. He said he didn't mind, but every time I met his eyes, I could always see his evasive eyes. I didn't care. I always thought that as long as the two of us were together, it would be good. But who'd have thought that my husband, who I thought loved me to the bone, had been sweet with someone else for 10 years? Zhang Yaya, Zhu Yan's white moonlight when she was young, is now a hot internet celebrity. In the early days, she became famous by live streaming on the edge. And now she has put forward the noblest concept of female singleness. She has always advertised herself as a noble single girl who does not want to get married on the internet and wants to live and enjoy until old age. She has a group of fanatical fans following her. A few days ago, she was also on the hot search because of her advanced lifestyle of not getting married. I opened the video website or Shan searched for Zhang Yaya's account. Seeing the same account like her every day, I found out after a careful check that this account is Zhu Yan's account, and they even have couple avatars. Actually, when I'm bored, I will also take some videos. Like other couples, I will act like a spoiled child and ask him to like my videos. She didn't even look at them. He said perfunctorily, "Look at how beautiful your videos are. It's embarrassing to post them." Besides, I don't have that account. But he commented on the first video Zhang Yaya posted, "So beautiful." I looked at this face in the mirror and it was completely different from myself 10 years ago. I thought he would always see my efforts, but I never thought that he didn't even want to look at them. Just as I was thinking, the door opened and Zhu Yan came back. He sat on the sofa and waited without saying a word. I went to him and handed him a cup of hot water. Seeing that I didn't move, he got up and searched for a long time before finding the cup in the cupboard, and then shouted at me impatiently, "Where's the water?" Yes, after so many years, he didn't even know where the water was. Such a person who has never touched the water of spring water, but went to great lengths to buy fake jewelry and documents to fool me. I don't know what position I have in his heart, an unpaid nanny. I threw my phone in front of him. Zhu Yan, don't you have an account? Then why do you like every video of Zhang Yaya? I checked the account number. He was a little surprised. Perhaps he never thought that I would check it, so he acted so recklessly. After a long time, he uttered a few words. Social needs. Social? Aren't you too busy to check your phone? It takes you a long time to reply to my message, so how come? Are you done yet? Doesn't he make a living from this traffic? What's wrong with me liking his video? I remember it was the same before we got married. Zhang Yaya was lingering in our lives. Zhu Yan would remember that she was afraid of thunder and would video chat with her every rainy day, but I clearly told him that I was afraid too. He would know all the things she liked to eat, so that slowly they became her favorite foods. It was not until after we got married that I got angry a few times because of this, and he restrained himself a little. I thought his heart was completely with me, but I never thought that he had found another way to get along. I was extremely desperate, turned into the house, and planned to pack up and leave. NIU, I've almost completed the process of injecting capital into Zhu Yan's company. I'm just waiting for your call. When my father called, I was packing my luggage in my room. I sighed and said, Dad, withdraw your investment. Don't invest anymore. What's the matter? Didn't the funds run out? Tell me, did that kid believe it? I told you that you ran so far alone and had no one to rely on, but you didn't listen. No, I'm just a little tired. Good girl, come back when you're tired. Dad will support you. Before coming to Zuyan City, I asked him about his attitude. He said he was busy with work and hadn't even visited my parents once. When I got married, my parents and I had a falling out, and they didn't come to my wedding, so until now, Zuyan has never seen my family. Zuyan thought that he was the only one I could rely on. But how big a conflict between father and daughter can't be resolved? As early as a few years ago, my father came to see me secretly, and our relationship has long been restored. Knowing that Zhu Yan's company was having trouble with capital turnover, I made preparations. One was to sell my own assets to help him pay off his debts. The other was to ask my father to inject capital into him so that the company's funds could circulate again. A few days ago, Zhu Yan also excitedly told me that a boss from the south contacted him and wanted to invest in him so that the company could survive the crisis. I was also happy and smiled and wished him well, thinking that I would soon see the high-spirited Ziyan again, but I didn't expect that the marriage I devoted myself to would become the most insignificant person in his eyes. When I pulled my luggage out of the house, Ziyan looked puzzled. What's wrong? Isn't it just because of an account? Is it that serious? Besides, you don't know anyone here. Where will you live when you go out? I didn't respond and left home without looking back. Zhu Yan still chased after me. I knew what he was thinking. At this critical juncture of injecting capital, no trouble could arise because of anything. He said that these entrepreneurs in the South value character the most, and the most intuitive way to see character is family relationships. Zhu Yan followed me into the room and looked around. How much does it cost to rent such a nice house this month? I smiled and shook my head. This house is located in the city center and is worth tens of millions. My father secretly bought it the year I got married. Our relationship has eased in the past 2 years, and he asked someone to transfer the ownership. Not only that, I have no less than 10 properties in the South. I originally thought that with these assets, even if Zhu Yan's company is not doing well, we can still make a comeback. Now I think it's not so bad. I was afraid that the house would be difficult to sell, so I asked Gold Jewelry first, and it was a close call that almost helped him make a comeback. Yu Yan sat upright on the sofa waiting for me to show my courtesy. She still feels that she has done nothing wrong. I looked at her eye that didn't match her shirt very well and laughed out loud. Over the years, even every set of clothes she wore was matched by me, but he gave all his love to Zhang Yaya. Sue and I stopped making trouble. Come home with me. As he said that, he wanted to grab my hand. I wanted to shake him off, but he grabbed it tighter, and my wrist hurt. Zuyan, what are you doing? I said, come home with me. I put my wrist down and shook off his hand. What reason do you have to take me home? He sneered. We have been married for 5 years. We are a legal couple. His eyes were firm and determined. How can a wife just leave like you? Really? A legal couple? Of course, until I threw out the marriage certificate with a fake seal to prove it. He was shocked. He was you. I asked Lily to check yours, and the legal wife's name is Zhang Yaya. I watched his eyes change from horror to astonishment, and he refused to admit it. I think your best friend is jealous of us and deliberately lied to you. She can't just say whatever she wants, right? I knew he would not admit it, so I took out the registration certificate sent by Lily, and the three words Zhang Yai appeared right after his name. His face changed. Chuanyi, listen to me. I didn't lie to you on purpose. He wanted to commit suicide at first, so I just to stabilize his emotions. But I've been with you all these years, and you are the one I love the most. I smeared. So the jewelry I received these years was fake, and the real estate certificate was fake. You call this love? Zhu Yan refused to leave, still hesitating to ask me to go back. Maybe he forgot that before marrying him, I was also a serious doctoral. I picked up the phone. Mr. Zhu, if you don't leave, I will call the police. After Zhu Yan left, I lay comfortably on the bed. It turns out that this is what it feels like to do nothing for a day. Maybe I was too relaxed. I slept until dark. When I woke up, I saw that my phone was filled with hundreds of messages. I thought that a video I shot was popular, but when I opened it, I found out that my account was besieged by private messages from netizens. You are just a housekeeper, but wait, do you have to be upset? You still want to compete with our Yaya? Our Yaya's a noble single queen. All the complaining women go away. No one can come to get close to you. Our Yaya looks like this, so I can only play the victim, but don't drag our Yaya into this. I didn't know why, so I started searching for information online. Zhang Yaya's live broadcasts are screenshots every day, and you can find a lot of them with a simple search. During the live broadcast, Zhu Yan suddenly appeared in Zhang Yaya's live broadcast room and began to slander me, saying that I had been eating and drinking for free for more than 10 years, and I ran away from home because of a trivial matter. Zhang Yaya also kept fanning the flames. These little women will only cry for 2 days, and they will go home within 3 days. Then, afraid that everyone would misunderstand, she began to clarify, this is my buddy, don't misunderstand. At the end of the live broadcast, Zhang Ye also released my account and asked fans to persuade me. Zhu Yan thought that this way I could go home and work for him like a cow and a horse. The last private message was from Zhang Yaya. Then let's make an appointment to meet. I didn't plan to meet her, but Zhu Yan didn't give up and came to the door again. I opened the door and Zhang Yaya was the first to speak. Zhu Yan said, you know everything. I ignored her and turned to walk into the house. She followed me and raised her head with an arrogant look. Why are you in a hurry? I didn't argue with you. Isn't Zhu Yan still with you? She wore the same jewelry that Zhu Yan gave me this year on her neck. My jewelry had turned to ashes. Seeing that I didn't say anything, she was even more proud. I won't compete with you in the future. You know, I don't advocate marriage. Zhang Yaya has taken good care of herself over the years. Although she is 2 years older than me, she has packaged herself into a girl in hurt 20s with her swaying figure and beautiful face. Seeing that I kept my head down, Zhu Yan thought I was going to surrender, so she wanted to give me a way out. Yaya said that this matter will not be publicized. In the eyes of outsiders, you are always my legal wife, and she will not compete with you for anything. Zhang Yaya looked at the time, said, oh, and hurriedly picked up the phone and set up the stand to broadcast live. Baby, be a good person to the end. Come to help your brother persuade his wife to go home. Last time, many fans left messages below. Although our Yaya is not a marriage's tea, he has a good heart and never forces people around him to have the same idea as him. That's right. She is beautiful, unkind, straightforward and frank, and never hides anything. Zhu Yan also rushed to the camera to say hello. Don't worry, everyone. If you have a little temper, I will coax you right away. Looking at them singing the same tune, I actually found it ridiculous. There are such blindly confident people in this world, and they are sure that I dare not leave. Indeed, a helpless housewife who has survived the best time and has no special skills, where can she go? Fortunately, my husband is still pursuing me, so I won't lose face if I go back now. But they overlooked that a woman who is willing to devote herself sincerely for 10 years, once she gives up, will leave. The real departure is never a quarrel, life and death, but silent, never looking back. So, before he came, I was also ready. Since everyone likes the real him so much, let's show him more realistically. Zhang Yaya never wears the same jewelry, but coincidentally, I have the receipts for these jewelry. I don't need to verify the authenticity of other jewelry. There is no need. I walked in front of the camera, and before I opened my mouth, the fans in the live broadcast room were boiling. My sister really did it, the nagging woman came out. Yes, it looks like she agreed to go home. My sister, how did you do it? With such a strong sense of belief, did you convince him by willpower? The screen of the live broadcast room was filled with gifts, and Zhang Yaya happily accepted them all. I cleared my throat. I'm Zhu Enyi. The reason I'm here is to tell you something. Before I finished speaking, the number of people in the live broadcast room soared to over 100,000. A large number of people came in to see how a noble woman who doesn't believe in marriage persuades a housewife to go home. Zhang Yai also raised her head high, waiting for everyone's worship. I took a step forward and suddenly took out the registration record downloaded by my best friend Lily from the Housing Authority from my pocket. I held the paper facing the screen and moved closer so that everyone could take a screenshot more clearly. Look, the person who got the marriage certificate with my husband is your single goddess, Zhang Yaya. Zhang Yaya also reacted and grabbed me back. What are you doing? Do you want Zhu Yan to divorce you? I smiled. Divorce? Miss Shang is really worrying too much. We haven't even got the marriage certificate, so how can there be a divorce? If you want to divorce, are you also divorcing? Zhang Yaya quickly turned off the live broadcast, but it was too late. There were always a few quick hands among the more than 100,000 viewers. Zhang Yaya lay in Zhu Yan's arms and cried, I shouldn't to you to persuade him. He just wouldn't listen. He wants to destroy me. Zhu Yan whispered to comfort him. It's okay. Maybe no one can see it clearly. The loving and harmonious scene made me envious. I picked up my phone and quietly took a picture of this scene. Afterwards, Zhang Yai issued a statement announcing that she would bring those who slandered her to court and that she was indeed single. But netizens are not idle either, and then they found out that Zhang Yaya had falsified her age and academic qualifications. Of course, the devastating blow was that she was married. For a time, there were waves of negative comments about Zhang Yaya on the internet. Empty words can never beat black and white. After I released wave after wave of evidence, Zhang Yaya finally shut up. She closed her account and disappeared for a while. Later, I heard that she moved into her home. After living together with Su Yan, she opened another account and established a persona of a little wife to continue making money. But the internet has memory. Netizens did not buy it and complained about her account, forcing the official to permanently ban her. Zhang Yaya had no choice but to serve Zhu Yan 3 meals a day at home so that she could get pocket money from him. But Zhang Yaya was not cut out for this. She got tired of it within 10 days and started to take Zhu Yan out to restaurants every day. Looking at Zhang Yaya, who spent money like water every day, Zhu Yan frowned. Her company was not doing well, and she could not afford to spend money like Zhang Yaya. I was introduced by a friend to work in a law firm. When the boss saw my diploma, he couldn't help but sigh. With such a good foundation, why didn't you continue to work? I smiled and said nothing. When I first got married, Su Yan and I discussed that I wanted to open a law firm. After all, this was my major. Before he finished listening, he shook his head and said, You've married me. Why do you still have to work? Just stay at home and be a rich wife. Zhu Yan's family is not well off, and she has always been very self-conscious. When he was pursuing me, there weren't any boys around me who were better than him, and he always felt insecure, so he asked me to quit my job and stay at home as soon as we got married. He said that he felt sorry for me because I was tired from working, but in fact, he just wanted to keep me captive. Because I love him, I still endured his little thoughts even though I knew about them. Fortunately, I can get out of it now. The boss of the law firm is a divorced single man named Shenju. Because I've been away from my job for too long and have no experience in taking cases alone. I usually help him organize the materials and act as his assistant. Shengku has strong business capabilities and has taken on many cases for companies. When I was sorting out the materials, I found that he was also the legal advisor for Zhu Yan's company's capital injection. This case has not been resolved yet, and it seems that my father has not explained it to Zhu Yan yet. While having lunch, I called my dad. Dad, didn't I tell you to withdraw the investment? Why haven't you told him yet? When my dad heard my voice, he felt distressed at first, and then he became very angry when he mentioned Zhu Yan. NIU, I have checked these days, and I know everything. This bastard thought that there was no one in my Shiwan family, and he actually bullied me like this. You can't waste your 10 years of youth. I interrupted my dad. Dad, I have nothing to do with him now. I'm fine. Don't be angry. Take care of yourself. As for him, no matter what happens, it has nothing to do with me. Good boy, you still feel sorry for your dad. Dad knows it. I'll go there in a few days. Just wait. Dad will seek justice for you. After hanging up the phone, I started to organize the information, and Shenju came over and stopped me. Xiaoqin said that if you and the company we are going to intervene in next can't work, let someone else do it. Shenbo has always been very considerate of others. I shook my head. No, I won't delay my work because of personal matters. Soon the day of signing arrived. Su Yan and Zhang Yaya made a high-profile appearance. We have been married for 10 years. I basically don't participate in any business activities of the company. Except for a few people I know, no one knows what Zhu Yan's wife looks like. Seeing me coming, Zhu Yan immediately became nervous. While everyone was busy, he pulled me aside. So NEI, have you had enough of the trouble? It was you who chose to tear our faces apart in the first place. What do you want to do now? Zhang Yai also came over. You ruined me, and now you want to ruin my marriage with Zhu Yan. I picked up the materials in my hand and dusted off the work clothes he grabbed. You think too much. I'm going to work. Su, NEI, come here. Shenghu Sir Wei An shouted. Su Yan then realized that I was not here for him, but before leaving, she still boasted to me proudly, this company is actually a friend of Yaya. He agreed to invest in us for Yaya's sake. You should be careful later. Zhang Yaya looked proud next to her. That's right. Some people have not achieved anything in 10 years, while some people become famous with one move. It seems that it is not a marriage problem, but a person problem. Suddenly the phone rang. There was a message from my father. NIU, don't talk for a while. See how Dad will vent your anger. When my father came with his secretary, Ziyan came up with Zhang Yaya. My father pretended to shake hands with her happily. Hello, mister. Then he looked at Zhang Yaya again. This must be Mrs. Zhang Yaya twisted her body and took a step forward. Mr. Jess, we also sent emails. Dad suddenly realized. It's the person who contacted me first. Fortunately, you are here, otherwise I would not have met such a good company. Hello, Miss Zhu NEI. Zhang Yaya was stunned and her face was ashen. It was Zhu Yan who stepped forward and said, This is my wife, Zhang Yaya. Dad was stunned. No, it was Miss Su NEI who contacted me at the beginning because she has the same surname as me. I remember it very clearly. I came here for her face. And besides, isn't your wife also Miss Zhu NEI? She was your wife at that time. Ziyan was stunned. In order not to make him doubt my identity, I never told him about my contact with Dad. When Dad called him, he was still very surprised. How could such a big company take a fancy to him? Maybe he mentioned this to Zhang Yaya, and Zhang Yaya took the credit for herself. But Ziyan is a man of business for a long time, so he naturally rounded it up. It's like this. There was a misunderstanding between Miss Su and me, so he pretended to be his identity. Ms. Zhang Yaya and I are the legal couple who have obtained the certificate. Then he took out their marriage certificate. The bright red certificate was kept intact, and Dad took it and looked at the date inside, August 18, 2019. This date is not unfamiliar to me. It was the day before Zhe Yan and I got our marriage certificate. In other words, they got their marriage certificate the day before we got our marriage certificate, and then used a fake one to fool me. Dad laughed and suddenly raised his voice. So that's how it is. Mr. Zhu and Ms. Zheng had been married for more than 5 years. There were several people who were familiar with me at the scene, and they looked at each other in bewilderment. 5 years? Hasn't he been married to Xuanyi for 5 years? How can this be? Can he get to marriage certificates? Miss Zhu is amazing. I watched Zhu Yan's face slowly darken, and then pulled my father to get into the process as soon as possible. Mr. Xuan, let's take a look at the contract. Xiang Yaya also stepped forward. That's right, this is not important. Our cooperation is the big deal. Dad shook them off and threw the thing in his hand to Zhu Yan, then explained this to me. Dad threw out the marriage certificate with Xu Yan and copied many copies and threw them to the press box. Everyone picked it up and looked at it. Isn't this the marriage certificate between Mr. Zhu and someone else? I don't know who said. This marriage certificate is fake. There was a lot of discussion at the scene, and several people who were familiar with me also began to blame Zhu Yan. I was wondering why when he left without saying a word. It turns out that the marriage certificate he had obtained for so many years was fake. Yeah, who can bear this? It turns out that it was Zhang Ya who was married to Zhu Yan. How smart! Xiang was also stunned, looking at my face with a little sympathy. Zhu Yan did not give up and ran to the stage to explain, but no one listened to her anymore. Dad looked around and saw me next to Shen Zhu and waved. Xuan Yi, come here. I trotted over and hugged Dad. Dad's move shocked everyone, and Zhu Yan also opened her mouth in shock. Why, you never told me. I sneered. How can I tell you? Besides, we don't have any relationship, right? Indeed, in the years of marriage, as the relationship with Dad eased, I proposed to go back to see my parents many times, but Zuyan always refused for various reasons, either busy or too many social engagements. Zuyan wanted Zhang Yaya to cash out the jewelry she had bought to pay off her debts, but Zhang Yaya refused. Zuyan took out the property certificate to do an asset appraisal, but was told that the house had been traded. Zhang Yaya knew that Zhu Yan's company would be difficult to revive, so she had already started selling assets and transferring them. When Zhang Yaya took the newly bought luxury goods home, she handed Zhu Yan a divorce agreement. Sign it, so you can get Zhu Enyi back, and your company may still be saved. Zhu Yan was angry, tore the divorce agreement to pieces, and told Zhang Yaya that she would never divorce. When my father left, he said he wanted to take me with him, but I refused. After my marriage with Xu Yan, I understand that women should never lose themselves at any time. I want to fight for my career. Shenhu's I have career of rapid development with many cases, and I have grown very fast, and soon began to take cases independently. The high-intensity work made me lose weight quickly. For work needs, I also put on exquisite makeup every day, and I look like a strong woman. After work, Shengri would deliberately ease the atmosphere. You look completely different from when you first came. I smiled. Of course, life is so passionate now, and I have endless energy every day. Shenghu lowered his head and smiled. The moment he raised his head, I met his eyes. That look seemed familiar, the same as the way Zhu Yan looked at me at first. I quickly avoided him and picked up the materials in my hand. I'll go prepare the materials for the case that afternoon. The next time I saw Zhu Yan was in court. I was the plaintiff's lawyer and he was the defendant. It was hard to imagine that half a year ago, I was still anxiously waiting for his call at home, asking him what time he would go home. Now his company has gone bankrupt, his debts are overdue, and he is still unable to repay after selling all his assets. The creditors took him to court in anger. The Zuyan opposite had gray hair and wandering eyes. He kept his head down without any vitality. Until he heard my voice, he slowly raised his head and suddenly stood up. After I finished reading the plaintiff's appeal, the judge allowed him to answer. He trembled in his voice and clenched his fists. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I'm really sorry, the plaintiff kept cursing. You owe me tens of millions, and a few words of apology will do, the judge said. Please answer truthfully. Zhu Yan stood there muttering. I'm sorry, I was confused for a moment and thought you wouldn't notice. I'm sorry. Zhu Yan's timing was not good. It happened that the country was vigorously rectifying bankrupt enterprises, and the support policy was limited. Enterprises could only declare bankruptcy in their organization. Because he was involved in illegal fundraising and was unable to repay, he was sentenced to 10 years. On the way back, I was speechless all the way. Shen dragged the car on the side of the road. Why sad? I shook my head. You have to walk your own path. There's no such thing as sadness. I just feel that people's hearts are really hard to see through. Shenhua handed me a bottle of water. Yes, but it depends on the person. Everyone has different bottom lines and different principles for doing things. Just like when we opened a law firm, my first principle is integrity, and I will be worthy of my conscience, and I will also demand this from myself in life. Have you heard that internet celebrity Xiao Yaya was arrested? Why? Doesn't she have a lot of fans? I heard that there are a lot of black materials. This time it seems that she owed a lot of money. To be precise, her husband owed a lot of money. She didn't divorce, and she was also listed as a dishonest person. Recently, she seems to want to make a quick buck and run away. She was investigated for selling fake goods in her senior year. Several new graduates in the company were discussing the latest news. On the way here, I also took a look. The new internet celebrity Xiao Yaya was arrested for suspected fraud in selling fake goods. The amount was huge and she might be sentenced. Xiao Yaya is indeed willing to take risks. After Zhu Yan went bankrupt, she had plastic surgery and changed her identity to continue to hang out on the internet. With her rich experience, she quickly made a name for herself. But since Zhu Yan went to jail, Zhu Yan's creditors had been keeping an eye on Xiao Yaya because they know that most of Zhu Yan's funds were transferred by her. Although she was forced to repay the debt, she turned around and changed her name and face so that no one could find her. Seeing that she was popular again, those creditors came together to collect the debt. Xiang Yaya was so smart that she signed a fake IOU and fooled those people. Those people called the police in a hurry and wiped out Xiang Yaya's live broadcast space. Seeing me come in, several girls stopped talking. Maybe they had heard something in the company, and they all smiled at me, embarrassed lie. I gave each of them a cookie in my hand. It's not time to go to work yet. You guys continue chatting. At some point, Shen Shu walked into the office. You really let it go now. I picked up a cookie and took a bite. Hey, you can still feel disgusted for the rest of your life after eating a bad cookie? Shen smiled. By the way, there is a dinner party tonight. Will you come with me? I made an okay gesture. When he left, he leaned over again. Remember to wear a formal dress. After coming to the company, I have attended many business dinners with Shenju. After all, it is a business need, but this is the first time to wear a formal dress. In the evening, Shengvu called to pick me up. I was stunned for a moment. After all, I used to take a taxi there by myself. This treatment really made me a little flattered. He explained that he was afraid that it would be inconvenient for me to wear a formal dress, and I didn't think much about it. But when I arrived, I found that this time it was not a business dinner, but Shenju's private dinner. Seeing us coming, several friends surrounded us and winked at Shenju frantically. One person said bluntly, "You are good. You have a beautiful woman in a golden house." Shenhua smiled and said nothing. I was pulled by several girls of similar age to have snacks. During the dinner, a girl couldn't help asking me, "How long have you been together?" I had just stuffed a piece of cake into my mouth and hadn't swallowed it yet. When I heard her words, I almost choked. "What, how long?" She smiled and said, "You must be in love. He brought you here, so you must be a boyfriend and girlfriend, right?" I suddenly realized that when I first entered the door, the people who came were all holding hands in pairs. They must be lovers or couples, so others would misunderstand me as Shenbu's girlfriend. But why didn't Shenbu explain? He let everyone misunderstand like this. I hurriedly swallowed the cake. No, I'm just his assistant. After that, I found Shenhu and he was already drunk. "Mr. Shen, why don't you explain to everyone that we are just ordinary colleagues?" Shenhu put down the wine glass in his hand and held my shoulders with both hands. "Xuanyi, can't you see my feelings for you? I like you. If you are willing, let's get married." I was stunned. Indeed, he was interested in me, and I could feel it more or less, but because we were colleagues, the window paper was always there, so I didn't think much about it. But his words now clearly stated that I must accept him. Are all men so confident about getting married? I couldn't help but smile, boss. Shanghai accompanied you to the dinner today and made you misunderstand. Then I apologized to you. Aren't we just ordinary colleagues? Maybe not even friends. If you want to force me to be your girlfriend, marry you, and be grateful to you, then you have found the wrong person. Shenpo is stunned for a moment. Do you want that form? Haven't you been married once? Is the form so important? I broke away from his hand. Sorry, I'm not married. I'm still single, and I have no plans to get married at the moment. Excuse me, I left Shenpu's company. When he received my resignation letter, he sent me a lot of messages. Xuanyi, I'm sorry I was impulsive. I thought you were eager for marriage. I like you and want to give you the best. If you don't want to, we will take it slowly. I will give you the best life and the best life. I smiled and deleted all his contact information. Zhu Yan said the same thing at the beginning. Pain has memory, and I am no longer a little girl in her early 20s who is full of expectations for love. Now I want to run towards my own future. If I meet someone who shares the same mind as me, I will not refuse him, but I will not be influenced by anyone. In the taxi, the driver kept chatting me up. CBD is very prosperous. Do you work there? No, I'm in the studio. Oh, you're not an ordinary girl. You're a boss at such a young age. What do you do? I studied law and I run a law firm. It doesn't matter what kind of boss I am. I just don't want to waste my youth. I want to try my best while I'm still young. The sun rose slowly in the morning. The sky was red. A few birds startled and flew higher. The driver hummed a song all the way. Sit tight, girl. There's a flat road ahead. Speed up.